So your automation's curious, and I think that's a great thing. You are interested in using automations for your business, but maybe you don't really understand how they work, or you're afraid of messing something up and just causing more problems than you solve. First of all, that is very normal, and I am here to help build your confidence with automations and how to use them in your business. I am going to take you through the principle that underlies how automations work so that you understand them a lot better. And then I will take you through discovering the triggers and the actions that you could be using to put some automations in place in your own business so that when you go into any of the tech tools you're already using that have automations builders, probably your email service provider does, you know what you're doing and you can have the confidence to start putting automations in place. I'm Mindy from MindySolves.com, and if this sounds good to you, come along with me. The basic principle behind how automations work might be something that you remember from high school science class or high school math class, and that's if-then thinking. So it's the idea of thinking about if this happens, then that happens, and thinking sequentially. So let me give you some just like real life examples of if-then thinking. If my cat's bowl is empty, then I fill it. If my alarm clock goes off, then I get out of bed, I drink a glass of water, I go into the bathroom. If my husband has to work in the afternoon, then I block out the time in my calendar and I set a reminder for 10 minutes beforehand so that I don't forget. These are all really simple examples of sort of that sequential, if this happens, then that happens thinking. Now, the way that that would apply in a business would be something like, if I sell a product, then I send a customer an email. If somebody signs on to be a new consulting client, then I send them my welcome packet. Those are some really simple examples of that kind of sequential, if this, then that thinking in your daily life. But now I want to introduce a more complicated example that is going to be more analogous to your standard automation, which is you have, if this happens, then I need to sort of make a bunch of decisions and then I want something to happen. And that is the idea of packing for a trip. So if I need to go on a trip, then I need to pack my suitcase. But I can't just pack a generic suitcase, right? I need to make a bunch of decisions regarding the circumstances of this trip that I'm going on to decide what I put in my suitcase. I'm going to pack very differently if I am going to southern Florida in the summer versus if I am going to Alaska in the winter. The clothing that I choose is going to be different. I'm going to pack very differently if I am going for a work trip versus if I am going, for a bunch of fun with my family at the beach. Those will determine, business clothes versus, beach clothes. And so what those decisions are a series of different sort of filters based on the circumstances that then dictate what we put in that suitcase. Automations work in a very similar way. So a very basic automation like the if the cat bowl is empty, then I fill it might be if someone signs up for my email list, then I send them my welcome automation, right? That's a really simple decision. It's a new subscriber. I want to introduce them to my company. So I'm going to send them this welcome sequence. And there's not a lot of decisions there. A more complicated business automation that is more analogous to that vacation packing metaphor that I used would be an automation where I say, when a customer purchases one of my products, then I send them the onboarding sequence to that product. I need to answer the question of which of my many products did they purchase. Just like when I pack my suitcase, I need to answer the question of where am I going? If this feels like I'm already jumping too far ahead and starting to talk about automations, That's okay. Let's spend just a little bit more time thinking about if-then thinking just in our daily lives and not think about our businesses for the moment. So just think about your life and go back to the idea of, if my cat food bowl is empty, then I fill it. What are examples of those in your life? Maybe it's if my fridge is empty, then I go grocery shopping. If tonight is game night, then I make sure to pack my dice for D&D. If it's Monday, then I go through my house, I empty all of the garbages, I clean out the cat box, and I take my garbage cans down to the curb. Think about examples of that and just maybe write a couple down. That will help you start to think about sequential thinking. Thanks for watching, and I hope these analogies were useful to you to help you understand automations better. In the next video, we are going to look at the thing that starts automations, which are triggers. I'll walk you through how to identify the triggers you can use for your business.